I'm a baller, high roller, baby. Shot.
Got rid of like 3 or 4 of them, chunking them, for not knowing. 37 birds I ended up with. Dude, do you know that maybe about a month later, my birds started dying from something called PMV. I guess that's like parvo for birds. 36 days in a row coming home from work, minus the weekends. It was a deceased bird in my cage. Well, didn't feel good, right? Almost kind of made you sad, but the beauty part of it was that I understand life and death. Things live and things die. Regardless of what it is, regardless of how close you are to it, regardless of how much money and time you put into it, things will decease, and nothing you can do about it. And so that was a beautiful thing for me in the beginning, okay? Because it helped me kind of detach a little bit and not be so emotional about what's going on with these birds. So 36 days later, I'm left with 1 bird. Now, mind you, this bird came from the same area. All my birds came from Bakersfield, various members of the groups. I understand that a lot of times when you auction for birds, most times them birds that's in that cage are what they call shit birds. Excuse my choice of words, but that's what they call them, right? Well, I didn't look at it like that, dude. I looked at it as an opportunity for me to hone in on my craft, on my new craft, and to get good at being able to keep these birds alive. So that's what I've done. So with that being said, dude, I was down to 1 bird, right? So now I couldn't get this bird to fly. This bird was one of them groups that used to be on the ground. So the very morning that I decided to throw that bird away, I went outside and threw that bird up in the air like, man, get out of here if you ain't gonna fly. I don't want you in my yard. And the bird took to the sky and flew so strong and, man, stayed up there for a while. Now, I didn't get no rolls out of it, but what the bird proved to me is that it had potential. And that's when it dawned on me that I had a lot to learn. Okay, so now we take that, we fast forward. I call Patrick. Hey, Pat, man, I need some birds. Pat goes, man, bring me a couple bucks. Come to the house, and I'll tighten you up. I didn't get a chance to see the birds come out of the sky, so I didn't handpick anything. I was pretty much trusting this brother. Now, did the brother do me right, or did he do me wrong? I still stand to see. Now, I got a guy that I'm dealing with now. A couple years later, I run into a guy named Garvin. It's an older man out of Lancaster, California, and he's been helping me do a lot of things as far as training, helping me understand how to read the birds, the colors, the patterns, the wings, the plumage of the feathers, the feet, the eyes, understanding how to match birds and pair birds. Ooh, it's starting to open up my eyes, right? I'm like, okay, it makes sense. So I'll bag up a little bit. After I lost all my birds, again, I go to Pat. Pat hooked me up with 8 birds. 10 birds, I think. I managed to, 2 of them got away, but I ended up with 8 left. So I get my first set of babies out, right? I'm doing my thing, man. I'm excited, man. The next year came, April 1st. I know the season starts from February to September. Yeah, you stop in September and you start back up in February. February is still a colder month. Kind of want to wait till it gets warm. What I didn't do, guys, the biggest mistakes is any game you get in, you have to learn the rules. I didn't care to even find out the predators and how they move and their seasons of what they do. So guess what? April 1st, man, opened up my cage. Man, I had it on camera. I thought I was doing the damn thing. My first day of filming, let my birds out, man, they was doing good, right? The birds come to the edge, they coming out doing their damn thing, man. And guess who showed up, man? Mr. Hawk, man. The Hawk showed up, man. I didn't even see him sitting up in my tree. Came right out, scared 15 birds away, only 4 came back. Look, guys. So I had to start all over again. Next season comes, I'm 21 strong this time. And what you know, I started noticing little bugs on my birds. This is my 2nd year. I should have just got a little powder or something simple. I didn't. I went and got a chemical. Y'all see my face? I went and got a chemical. And not that the chemical was bad. I didn't bother to dilute the chemical at all. So guess what? I pretty much burned the birds to death. With that chemical was so strong on their skin, I was only able to save 1 out of that 20-something birds that I had, man. 3rd year in a row, here I am now, guys. 3 years later, I got a nice set. I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I'm 17 strong right now. 17 strong with my babies. And dealing with the older man, Garvin, he got me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He just shot me 6 more birds. So with them 6 birds, I'm back on, right? So now I got 2 different types of birds in my loft. And now it's time for me to do my thing. So he been working on me with the training. I'm doing really well. But guess what? The hawk showed up the other day. So I'm a little leery, guys, to be honest. Right? Based on my first 2 years and things that I've experienced, I'm scared to let them out now. I do understand that the hawks generally don't show up when it's hot. They come more towards the evening once it cools down. So that's something else I got to keep in mind. And working from home, it's been kind of difficult for me because I'm attached to that computer, right? I'm an HVAC senior technician, guys, and I work for one of the biggest school districts, in California, and been there. I got 20 plus years experience, but now I'm behind the scenes in the technical form. So it's very rare that I can kind of come out early morning and get these birds up in the air, right? Because I'm doing submittal reviews. I got Zoom meetings all day, every day. I still got to go out to some of the projects and commission these major HVAC projects and make sure that these contractors are given the owner, which is LAUSD, right? That's the school district I work for. What they pay for. And so it's a big deal, right? It's some top dog type stuff. Although, yeah, I ain't gonna talk about the pay, but it is what it is. Needless to say, it's taking care of my family. My wife ain't gotta work, so it's a beautiful thing. We got other things we're doing. I got a hot dog business. I do side work, and now, you know what I mean. We got these YouTube pages jumping off because I want to get me some, right? At the same time, educate some folks because I was new at once, and I just want to just reach out and, hey man, somebody might find a like in the Corn's page and come on through, come hang out with Mr. C. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Like I said, recently I just moved to Lancaster, and we're doing our thing. And like I said, the birds have adjusted pretty well, and it is what it is. Breeding season just ended, starting September 1st. So I pretty much pulled all my boxes out. I got 3 pairs that are still finishing off their eggs and things of that nature. And once they're done, then we can move into our winter time. I got feathers all over the place. They molting because it's also molting time. And hey man, I think that's about it. I think I got it all in. So anyway, I just wanted to give y'all a history of who I am, what I've been doing, where I came from, and how I got to where I'm at. All right? So now back to what I was doing, and I'm gonna walk away again so I can check the rest of these cages, and then after that, man, we're gonna call it, right? So today is just introduction and hanging with Mr. C, man. So I'm gonna come out here more regularly. I'm gonna show you what I'm doing. Please, if you have any questions, please put them in the message below. Go ahead, you can DM me, and let's talk about this thing, man. How y'all doing with these birds, man? How y'all doing? If somebody sees something that I'm doing, you might be able to add something to me. And let's talk, man. Let's hang out. Let's kick it. Let's do this thing, man. And let's become professional birders together, man. You understand what I'm saying? My dream, honestly speaking, y'all, is to one day become a competition flyer, right? I do believe I got the potential because all it is learning how to train. Once you learn how to train, learning how to spot the birds that have the qualities that you want, and you start to take them birds, bring them out of the flight cage, put them back in the breeding cage, and start your breeding process, connecting them with other traits and things that you think that you see that you want in your birds. Thus, creating a competition line that you could actually win with and put some chips in your pocket. All right? So that's what the name of the game is. That's really what I'm trying to get to. At this point, like I told y'all at the beginning, I originally did this to be with my kids. But now my kids ain't interested no more, right? Because I ain't been able to get the birds in the air to make them do anything. Because I'm learning. So because they've lost interest, I'm really out here now trying to prove to myself that I can do it. Amongst everything that I got going on. You know what I mean? So that's what it is, and that's where we at. So like I say, back to water. Also, y'all, you know, I know it's one thing that I got to figure out how to do. I'm getting ready to tear this cage down right here, and I'm going to put a wall up in between because it's big enough for me to be able to separate my males from my females. I need to create a breakout cage. I'm looking at these suckers right now, man, and they're in here kissing the things, man. Which means if they're kissing, they still keeping their connections, and I don't want to start finding the eggs just laying all around the bottom. Don't need the females just laying eggs because it's time for them, their bodies to heal so that we can get ready for the next season. All right? So I just want to throw that out there. It takes a lot of patience to do this damn thing, right? So just keep in mind, don't let nobody rush you, force you. It's going to work out in your own perfect timing, right? So whether you fill up your backyard with cages or whether you have one, my dream is just to have 2 flight cages, and that's it, 2 sets of birds that I can put up. And if I can get both sets of competition level, that's where I want to be. I want to fill my shelving up with trophies, money, and plaques to show that I, made a dent in this bird thing. And like I say, there's some poor youth, some kids that's looking for help and may need their first setup. You know what I mean? I want to get to the position to where I can provide that, right? Because it's about the youth. So it's always about the youth. The youth is what's going to take us into the next level. So we want to train the youth up right, though. Not lie to them, not play games with them, not spin them around in circles like a lot of our people like to do. I'm here, my channel, I want to bring facts, I want to bring truth, and I want to bring camaraderie, man, to this thing. However, we can all become the best that we can be dealing with these birds is what my goal is, right? So that's what I'm trying to do. All right. So everybody looking good? Everybody doing all right? All right, that's what it is, man. What it is. I'll tell y'all what, man, that's it for now. You know what I mean? That's just me coming out, checking on my birds, making sure they right and they tight. Everything's looking good. So I'll be back probably a little bit later and show y'all, how we feed and what we do to feed. Keep in mind, feed, clean food, clean water, and you clean the cages to the best of your ability. I used to clean my cages every weekend. I had this idea where I wanted pharmaceutical type cages, like I'm in some type of factory or something. And like I say, my schedule, my wife and I, we got a hot dog business too, so it keeps me running, dude. And so I had to cut it back to every 2 weeks, right? So we'll show videos on how to clean the cage and what I do to clean mine, and you take advice from there or don't. You know what I mean? Always keep in mind there's something that we can learn from everybody, right? I mean, all the way down to taking sickly birds and hand feeding them and putting them back in the cage once you get them healthy. I've had runts. I've had all kinds of stuff I've experienced. So, man, let's talk, man. Pick my head and let me pick yours, man. So, like I say, so be sure, man, to like, share, right? Subscribe, all them good things. Let everybody know what we're doing over here on Corn's page. And come hang out with Mr. C more often, man. All right? In the meantime, man, I love you to life. And I'll talk to y'all later, man. Bird now, Lancaster, California.